Sometimes when people speak, their comments are often taken out of context and they're not fully understood. Sometimes we got to ask those questions to get those who made the comments to fully explain exactly what they meant. You know your favorite coach is back at it again, 10 toes down, about to tell you how it all went down. But first, welcome back to Tomorrow League Sports Network with your host, Coach Walker. If you're new to the channel, please like, share, subscribe. That's right, guys. Subscribe to the channel, like these videos, comment on these videos, share these videos. Don't forget, guys, hit that notification bell so you can get all these videos. Not to mention, hey, tap in a friend, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Tell them to come on in. Double positive vibes over here. We're just having a good time talking about HBCU sports and just getting some clarity on a lot of different things that's going on out here, because I know many of you are sitting back trying to figure out, hey, what coach got going on now? But I'm going to tell you this, guys. Check this out. Don't forget, you can follow us on social media. The links are listed down below in the description. So without further ado, we're going to jump on in this thing. We're just going to tap on in. We're going to make it do what it do like we normally do and keep this thing going. But check this out. I saw in the comments, there's a lot of you out there talking about how there's so much hate going on towards Coach Prime. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't have time to hate on nobody. I'm pretty sure there are some folks out there that's hating on him, and I'm gonna speak directly to that right now, because I know for a fact there's some things that got many of you wondering, like, man, where's all this negative press coming from? And I'm gonna put it to you simple as this: when you're such a polarizing person like Coach Prime, people tend to hang on to every word that you speak, and they feel that when you say something that's out of context or it doesn't quite make sense, they take the first opportunity that they can and throw it back in your face to get some type of rise out of everybody, instead of sitting back and say, hey, let me ask that question and see what exactly did you mean, so we can get, so we can go ahead and get a better understanding and expand the conversation so people can really get to the crux of what's going on here. And you know what? That's one thing that we don't do as people. But I'm going to tell you this. Coach Prime's comments concerning the NFL draft, where he stated that, and here's the post. I'm putting the post up here. I'm going to put it up on the screen so you can see it. Where it's saying, and I'm going to show you the complete message. So there's no misconstruing what I'm trying to say here, because my point is specifically at one specific thing in that tweet, and in that Instagram message that he posted. And it stated, he said, I witnessed a multitude of kids that we played against that were more than qualified to be drafted. Okay, let me break something down to you. Let me ask you this question. Was he talking about while he was coaching at Jackson State, or was he talking about since he's been coaching, period? Remember, he said, I witnessed. He didn't say we, he said, I witnessed. Yes, guys, let me tell you something. If you don't know, I'm about to tell you right now, he had a youth program called Truth, 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 right? And in that Truth program, he had traveling teams that went, to different states, I'm going to say all over the country, and played other programs. I mean, he played other programs around the country, like Snoop Dogg's program. He played Warren Sapp's program. I believe he played against Uncle Luke's team down in Miami, Florida. They also play in what they're called a Centennial Bowl in Atlanta, Georgia. And there's one of the Falcon players, defensive back. I forget. I can't remember his name, but he played against him in Atlanta, as well as went to the DMV and played them there as well. So my point to you is this. You got to remember, there's kids that he's seen play on multiple levels throughout his time as a coach. And I don't know if everybody understood. I don't know if everybody understand that, or maybe no one has asked that question. No one asked the question about whether or not he's talking about since he's been at Jackson State, or is he talking about his overall experience as a coach? They're also, remember this too, there was an HBCU combine that took place last month, where there was 26 players that were invited to that combine, who NFL, CFL, XFL, and the teams overseas wanted to see face-to-face, but they weren't able to see him last year, 2020, because of the pandemic. So again, guys, there's no way in the world you're going to sit here and tell me that a lot of those players that was at that combine, they weren't, their talent level wasn't better than some that got drafted this year, who actually heard their names called on days 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to tell you that right now, because guess what? We got McCain. When I say I'm talking about my Denver Broncos picked up McCain as a undrafted free agent. We signed him to come be a part of the Denver Broncos. Yeah, he got to make the team, but he's that guy. And he's on the other side of Patrick Surtain. Come on, man. That's going to be a corner matchup made in heaven, when you got those two corners out there that's going to be balling. But what I'm trying to get you to understand is there's no way in the world you're going to sit here and tell me that out of all the teams that took corners, he wasn't better than, say, at least 4 of them. I'm just being honest with you. Just keep that in mind. Put that in your head there, okay? But the thing is this. Instead of us asking questions, like I said before, for Coach Prime to further explain his comments to get a broader understanding of what he meant, it's like the comment that somebody made, where they're saying that he is skipping the line to become a head college football coach because of his stardom, and someone should have told him that players can't be drafted in the spring because they played. I'm like, let me explain something to you. Played before he made a statement. Listen, maybe those who feel that way, they should have done a little bit more research themselves. If you haven't forgotten, let's remember here, Coach Prime was recruited himself. Okay, that's number one. Number two, let's do a little research to find out exactly who he was talking about. Like I stated before, was he talking about the kids that he coached against while at Jackson State? Then yeah, you have every right to make that comment. But if he's talking about kids that he's coached and seen play throughout the time he's been coaching from Little League on to now, I think you kind of owe the man an apology for that. Or better yet, at least step outside your comfort zone and ask questions. That's what we need to do. It's too much assumption going on. Yeah, some of you might say, hey, Coach, well, you're assuming now. I'm going to put it to you like this. I honestly feel I can get away with that statement. You know why? Because I actually seen what he's done in the community. Let me break something down to you. Like I said, he had that program called Truth. And when he had the program Truth, he brought that program to Atlanta, Georgia. At the time, I was running a youth football league, okay? In the league, we require for you to have 6, 8, 10, 12, and 14U age groups. He came in here with 2 sets of that to be in the league, okay? I'm just putting that out there to you. That's how many kids he had, and not to mention, those kids actually tried out for those teams, all right? So understand that. That just get that in your mind. There's a lot of people out there, I'm sure, don't know that. I know some folks in Texas might know that, but I know there's a lot of people out there that didn't know that, and that's why I want to share that information, because sometimes we get in that rut where we just want to fire away and we don't think before we do it. I know I've done it before. I'm man enough to say, hey, I was wrong. This ain't about no clicks. This ain't about none of that. This is just calling it straight down the line like Coach normally do. But I'm gonna put it to you like this. It's time for us to step outside of our comfort zones and ask the questions that we need to ask, the right ones, so that we all understand exactly what's going on and get a better understanding, so that we're not sitting here creating the chaos and the different stupid narratives that we don't need to create. Like I said before, most of the HBCU players that got picked up this year, they are unrestricted free agents. There's several of them that got picked up. And, there's no in the world, like I said, you're not going to tell me that they shouldn't have had their names called in those 3 days that the draft went on. Remember this, you got these folks out here that's doing these big boards, these NFL draft big boards, and you never hear not one HBCU player name called out amongst all of those players that they're talking about. Never. Only thing you hear is the sexy names. That's it. That's it. And I think that's what he's trying to tell you. I'm just saying this is what I think. But as far as like all the other stuff, I've seen this firsthand myself. I'm just putting it out there for you to hear it, so you can go ahead and say, you can throw the darts over here if you want to. I love it anyway. Like one of my new favorite family friend members on the channel, he loved, Coach, you always got something slick to say. No, there ain't nothing slick to say. I'm just calling it the way I see it. But I'm gonna tell you like this, guys. We gotta do better. We got to do better, get a better understanding of one another. Leave me a comment below and let me know, was Coach Prime wrong and how he presented his message, or are people just being haters? I know one dang old thing for sure. I ain't no hater. I ain't got time for it. But until next time, be the one and lead.